Therapy is in session. I need it just as much as you guys need it. So let's go. Everybody bring your favorite meds. Oh, okay. So how are we on this cold Thursday morning? We got the second of a back to back tonight. Uh, we got the Devils. We're going to see Tarasov tonight. Wasted a pretty nice performance from Bobrovsky last night. Actually kind of wasted a nice performance from Tarasov the day before, but that's okay because apparently nobody got long-term injured last night. So I think we're safe now. We're out of the woods. All right. Hey, Simon, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit, the guy we picked up. Silva says, so what's wrong with the Panthers? Is a three-time Stanley Cup final team so mentally fragile that they shatter when they face road adversity? I honestly, I don't think it's that, obviously. I don't know. Silva. The first three games of the year, even Ekblad was like, we're a well-oiled machine. Everybody was like, this is great. They look exactly, you know what I mean? They looked exactly like you would expect. The script to the game was the same. I mean, they looked fine. And then these last two games, like if it comes out next week that they all had the flu and they're sick, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But why we started off like this on the road, I'm hoping it's nothing. Because if it's not nothing, that means it's something. And if it's something, it's likely the guys that are out, which ain't getting fixed anytime soon. So I'm hoping that it's just the way we start, you know what I mean? Like that it's not indicative of a larger problem. We'll look at some of the numbers. That's for sure. Mythical, how we doing? Jameson, you said you think we played a solid first period last night. It was better than Philly. It wasn't great, but it wasn't anything terrible. We're not playing terrible. It's not like we're losing games 5-0. You know what I mean, and whatnot. We're just not doing the forecheck that is what we normally feed off of offensively, right? And that's especially important now because without Barkov, we've seen it, the faceoff percentages are abysmal with the exception of Lundell. And so we're not getting possession of the puck nearly enough off the faceoffs. And then we're not getting possession of the puck because we're forcing the other team to turn the puck over because of the heavy forecheck. So we're really limiting our offensive opportunities to even get set up in the zone and put pressure on these teams. And we didn't really have a heavy-duty forecheck the first three games either, but we survived that because guys are putting the puck in the back of the net. And while I don't blame Maurice for doing the line blender thing, he did the right thing last night. Lundell, Lusterine, and Marchand should never not be a thing unless injuries really get us to the point. But Lundell, Lusterine, and Marchand, you saw it last night. They're already starting to get a little bit of that chemistry back, especially for Lusterine. That line needs to stay. It just needs to stay. And so when you get to the rest of the guys, I kind of like the idea with what he did with Rodriguez, Verhaeghe, and Reinhardt. If you're going to put Rodriguez at 2C, Rodriguez, as far as I know, the last few games, I think Rodriguez has been better than Bennett in this play in the circle. We got to look at these numbers, but you only got these 6 other guys, and one of them is Boquist, right? And so Boquist is not necessarily a guy that you really want in your top 6 on a nightly basis, but with injuries, we're going to have to do it. And then on top of that, one of the other guys is Samoskevich, who's still just a young player learning how to play. So there's issues. There's no way around it. There are some issues, but we're also making it more difficult on ourselves by not forechecking and not playing we're not playing to the best of our ability. Not these last 2 road games. I think we played pretty well, all things considered, with the injuries the first 3 home games. And it's backwards. We're always better on the road. So That's my 2 cents anyway. Mythical says, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Geez, relax. Just tread above water, get Chucky back. Hopefully our captain, Zito trade. We're picking up the pace later on. Healthy playoffs is what matters. So, yes and no. Yes and no. You can play yourself out of a playoff spot early enough in the season. This team is not going to have the juice to do what we did 3 years ago and bust our ass towards the end of the season to come back from any amount of points down. Now, luckily, I hate to put it, but one team that would have definitely been up there fighting for a playoff spot was Ottawa. They look not good. They look not good, especially now without Tkachuk. I know what you're saying, just tread above water, but they're going to have to play. The road is usually where we bank the points that we need to bank that gets us in the playoffs. So the fact that it's a little bit backwards, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm not concerned, because some of the reasons we're losing games is just simply not playing up to par. You know, the face-off percentage, it just causes so many downhill problems. So I understand what you're saying, but if we got to make the playoffs. We got to make the playoffs. And right now, the way we play in these last 2 games, hey, Derek. Real says they're down 4 starters, including 2 of their best players. Anyone who thought this would be easy, right? But yeah, that being said, stop pulling the goalie. Yeah, with 3 minutes left. Oy. Don't get me started there. 25 block shots, Craig. Gee, yeah, they're trying. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Craig hits on it too there. These other teams, they only got to play super duper hard the one night, right? And so if we're not going to match their intensity, we saw this last year. It didn't show up in October as much as it did, December, January, February, right? Scientist says, notice we broke the perfect PK streak immediately after the commentators mentioned the stats live. Yep, that's a guarantee. I hate those stats. I hate it with a passion. Whenever, and it's the same, whether it's for or against us, immediately what's going to happen. Real says, still figuring out the line chemistry. Playing a few games without Barkov in the middle of the year is one thing. Playing an entire season is a whole new beast. Right. So David says, as much as I hate to say it, Samuel's not the best forechecker and he gets pushed off the puck too easy. It's early. He's young, just saying. 100% agree. It's not for lack of effort. That's for sure, David. It's not for lack of effort. When he uses his speed, he's closing in on elite at that point, because he can use his speed to draw defenders, and then he's really good at dishing the puck. But in terms of him going into the corners and winning battles and coming out with the puck, he may get there. I certainly have all the faith. He's a very, very young player. He hasn't even played a full season's worth of games yet. So I have confidence, but it worked with Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, because Samoskevich could just feed off the hard work of those 2 guys, and he'd have some open space and put the puck in the back of the net. But asking him to be a heavy part of the forecheck in the top 6 right now, we need Samoskevich to be putting the puck in the back of the net. There's issues, These other teams must love Maurice pulling the goalie so they can pad the stats. Yeah, Derek, it's Tarasov today. Yep. Yeah. No doubt, Ted. No doubt, buddy. Vincent says they suck. It's that simple. This year, bubble teams want to get in. Panthers must put in the work to win games. And have you noticed the Verhaeghe? This guy is nowhere near to be found for the second year. He looked good the first game. He looked good game 1, Vincent. But look, we got 2 cups. We made it 3 Stanley. Everybody's hurt. Jesus. Our 4th center, our most dependable bottom pair defenseman who you can move up to the second pair and he plays well, the captain, and then by far and away the best center on the team. And then you just throw in the guy that drives the bus energetically in Kachuk. And it's not a surprise that we look the way we look. I'm more surprised that we look that way on the road. So we'll see. I mean, last year we didn't start off great either last year, too. You know what I mean? Derek says, season's still early. If they make the playoffs, then we'll see how they go, right? Dawes in net for open skate. He may start for the Devils tonight. Hey, Risky. Morning live. I like that. I like it. Steven says, given what we know thus far, win all the home games, lose all the away games, puts us on track for 82 points, which will not cut it. Jay Callan in net for New Jersey. Chunky Khan, the injuries are just getting taken used to. And there's no doubt. There's no doubt. David says, we have injuries and some guys starting slow, 5 games in. Let's give it a month. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. So where did we get does ESPN give game log stats? Let me see. So they don't even give I'm looking for face-off percentage. So let's just go back to where we've been going. So Lundell after last night, probably close to 60, right? 58.7. That's pretty much where Lundell, he's actually stepped up his game. He really has. His best season face-off percentage so far was a couple of years ago at 50, just about 55. He's at almost 59 right now. Lundell, you can't complain about Lundell whatsoever. He's got a point a game. Somehow he's got a point a game and he's -2. He's got 2 power play goals. I mean, Lundell, you can't ask anything more from Lundell right now. That's for sure. Bennett, on the other hand, Mr. Conn Smythe over here, Mr. brand new contract over here, has 1 point in 5 games, and he's shooting 43.8% in the faceoff circle. So to David saying somebody's starting slow, Bennett's got 1 point in 5 games. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know hockey or not, but that ain't good. That ain't good. That's what you call bad. Hey, Colby. You just heard the Dolphins-Brown games could have 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. Jeez. Well, Tua can't throw anyway, right? Yeah, Panthers have lost each game by 1 goal minus the empty nets, for sure. Vince says, none of it matters when you look at Verhaeghe. The guy earned his place by scoring goals on broken plays and breakaways, occasional snipe shot. When he scored on the breakaway last time 2 seasons ago. Right. I hear what you're saying, Vincent. Colby says, the only team that looks really solid in the Atlantic so far is Montreal. I told you all Montreal could possibly win the division. Nobody wanted to believe me. Everybody called me an idiot, said, no, man, you crazy, Jaws. And you're right. But, I mean, the Atlantic right now is all sorts of backwards. If you had the Wings, Bruins, Canadiens as the top 3 in the Atlantic after a week and a half, raise your hand. If you had Wings, Bruins, Canadiens, Panthers technically are tied for that, but we have 1 more game played. Canadiens they look decent, right? Montreal, Toronto, yeah, right? The Lightning, So, I mean, it's early, But Montreal, I told you guys, Montreal ain't playing around. Benny, Swaggy, and Erod off the slow starts. Yeah. Colby says last game was more about Detroit playing a complete game than Florida sucking. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like we're getting blown out of the buildings, but these are games out of the last 2 games. Let's put it this way: in order to make the playoffs, we need to have gotten a point out of the last 2 games. A couple of road games where you really don't have your best, you got to at least find a way to get to overtime on one of them. You follow what I'm saying? Now, can we make up for that by winning the regulation tonight? Sure. Okay. But when you go out on the road, you have to at least be breaking 500. And I know it's early and all of that, but I think the concern for those of us who have concerns is that I don't know that there's answers for those concerns. Barkov ain't coming back until maybe the playoffs, and Tkachuk ain't coming back for months. So this is what we got. You know what I mean? Yeah, Paragon says Bennett's plus minus is terrible. He's got to be killing you in fantasy. He's got a point. Oh, hey, have fun, Ted. Have fun with that. Vincent said, so I don't like the vibe of this team. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling this year they're going to be in need for a trade change on the roster. Current team might not get it done. And I don't know that there'll be room. You know what I mean? To me, right now, the biggest thing that, like I've said at the beginning, and I said this since Barkov has been out, the face-off percentage, losing those draws. And did we have one power play last night? That's another thing. When we're not working hard and forcing the other team into mistakes, power play's been good for us so far. Hey, Ted, appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, and Craig says Cooley is a bigger loss than expected. Petrie's, look, but I'm going to give Petrie his time because there were some games at the beginning of the season last year. Remember, we all used to come in here and say, God, my God, Schmidt is so slow. And then as the season grew on, he got better and better. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, Paragon. Yeah, good point. Stupid penalty by Mikula when we're already on the PK, right? Yeah. So, Simon, there's just a lot of different reasons. Look, Bennett's never been over 50%, but that's not true. That's interesting. So I wonder what happened to him. Huh. So his last 3 full seasons, his last 3 full seasons in Calgary, he must have been playing third line minutes, looking at his time on ice. And his face-off percentage is 54, just about 56, just about 52. Then when he came to Florida and we put him at 2C, 47, 47, 47, 46, 47, and he's at about 44 right now. So there's zero expectation that Bennett in the top 6 is going to have a face-off percentage at 50%. None whatsoever. Okay, so there's that. Lundell has stepped up. And where's Rodriguez? We just don't have the depth. It's just a whole different team without these 2 guys. It really starts to remind me. I'll tell you what, not that I think we're going to be this bad. Rodriguez is at 42%. He's at 42%. And you can't win. You can't win with you know what I mean? That's tough. That's hard, man. You're 30. You think of the difference. Our normal 3C is Lundell at 55, and now we got Rodriguez at 42. That's a lot. That's a lot of change. That changes what we do significantly. Now, I don't think we're going to be as bad as this, but the start to this season, it feels like the year Huberdeau got hurt. Vincent says Bennett wasn't a full-time center in Calgary, so those numbers might not tell the real story. Gotcha. Yeah, and his time on ice was only like the 13-minute mark too. So yeah, okay. It kind of has the feeling of, because when Huberdeau went out, man, everything just went to shit. To be honest, you know what I mean. And we were treading water though. Gallant had us treading water. We were like what 11-10-1 when he got fired, and honestly, we could end up in that situation here again. You know, we'll have to see. I don't want to say it's a must win, but you don't want to start losing 3 road games in a row early in the season like this. They've got to prove to themselves, this version of this team, they got to reprove everything to themselves. Do I think we're leaving the goalies out to dry? No. I mean, look, Bob allowed 2 goals last night, and one of them was on a 5-on-3. You know what I mean? Totally wasted a performance. I mean, what was Bubba's numbers last night? Right? They had a lot of shots. Bubba last night was, let me look at the game logs. He had a 9-13. He allowed 2 goals on 23 shots. And one of those was on a 5-on-3. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, and the other one was, yeah, exactly, David. Yeah, the other one, Forsling deflected, and Bob probably had it, and then Forsling, yeah, good memory on that. Yeah. No, but hey, at least we're not the Rangers, right? My God, at least he's not Shesterkin. 0.76 with a 9.72, and the dude's lost 2 games. Ron says Wings had too many high danger chances. If Bob was not in net, it would have been 6-1, maybe. Vincent says maybe a coach should try Reinhart on faceoffs. What else hasn't he tried? That's really a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I know he doesn't take a lot of faceoffs in the past, but he was taking his fair share of faceoffs in the playoffs, though. What was Reinhardt's numbers in the playoffs? Let me see. So the last 2 years, not taking a lot, 44%, 41% last year. I don't know how many draws he's taken so far this year, but he's at 33%. Reinhardt's at 33%. But I seem to remember maybe the playoffs he did okay last year. No, that's bad. Last year, he was taking a lot of draws for Barkov, I thought, but his faceoff percentage last year in the playoffs was 35%. Yeesh. Yeah, so that might be why Maurice hasn't tried it yet, Vincent. Oof. I mean, that's I think I might be able to do, I could probably do 25%. You know what I mean? I'm so short they can't get low enough. I'm so close to the ground, I get to the puck first. Seriously, just by gravity. Brian says, do I think having the second oldest roster and going up against the young Flyers and Wings roster was a factor? Yes. And so I said this in the beginning. I said this about Montreal, and it still applies. If any of these young, quicker, energetic teams during the regular season decide on any given night that they're going to expend their energy, we're going to have tough nights. Vincent says, let Bob take the face off. How worse can it be? with the big paddle, right, Vincent? I mean, shit, can he take the face off with the paddle? That alone would do some damage. Yeah, it's a good idea, but I don't know if Reinhardt's the answer. 35% is pretty bad. Jeez. Who else is there? Nobody else really takes a whole lot. What's Cunnin at? Is he I know the first couple of games I kind of liked his game. Fourth line has been so invisible the last 2 games, though. Cunnin is shooting at 44%, which is about normal for him. That's his normal. Last full season he played 48% at San Jose, 47 at San Jose, 46. So Cunnin's about where he's at, 45. That's just what the dude is. Bill says, I thought the cup tax would come due last year. It's come due this year. These guys don't all of a sudden suck. It's just adding up. Sure. I mean, we made it to 3 straight cups, and we got all these injuries. And so we're asking guys like Bennett and Reinhart, especially, who have played a lot of hockey. Reinhart especially, because he's never out. Bennett is out from time to time, but Reinhart is never out. And so we're asking these guys to step it up and fill in for guys like Barkov and Tkachuk at the beginning of the year when, with our full roster, we could be on cruise control and be at, 35, 20, and, 5 or something halfway through the season or whatever it would be. You know what I mean? Like with the full roster, we can kind of just go on cruise control. Case in point. These last 2 games, no way would Barkov and Tkachuk we lose both games. Somebody's putting the puck in the back of the net. The different options that Maurice has during the line blender times, you just say F it and you put Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart together and we get a goal and then we get to overtime. Like, you know what I mean? David says, are there home road face-off splits advantage to road team as home team starts? Let me see. Yeah, the Bennett, Boquist, Mackey line. The issue there, though, I like that. I like the speed of that line. Bennett better not get tossed in the circle. That's the only problem with that line. Is I know Boquist can take some draws, so I mean, he's functionally capable of doing it. Yeah, home away splits on faceoffs. Let me see. Let me see if I can find something here. Maybe StatMuse, maybe Money Puck. Let me see. Where's Panthers? Panthers. Where the hell are the Panthers? Oh, geez. I'm not paying. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. John says, do you think the moves are going to be made sooner rather than later? Do I think Barkey should just sit out entirely playoffs to have more cap space getting someone worthwhile? I think if we were not trying to three-peat, they might have just said, okay, Barkov, you're done. We'll see you next year. And they would just try to fill the hole as best they could. But I think since we're trying to three-peat, I think they're going to give Barkov every last possible breath of an opportunity to come back. That would be my guess. Oh, my God, Boulevard. Jeez. Vince says pay, right? Hey, Great White. Markstrom's on IR. Let me see. Let me see if no, that's not what I need. StatMuse, I'm not paying for. What about Money Puck? Yeah, a lot of this is going to be like Fenwick and Corsi and all of these things that I don't understand at all. At all. Let me see. Yeah, this is going to be above my pay grade. I'll have to look up that information while I'm not trying to stream. See if I can find someplace that's got that information. Frank says, just trade everyone. We suck again. I don't think we can. We're fine. We're fine. You know, the hard part is playing like we did last night. Can't even really like look at the schedule and get like a real idea of like maybe how we can fix things. Now, if you can get your 2 points against the Devils tonight and then beat the Sabres on Saturday, then we're back to 5-2, and we're okay going into the game against Boston. And who's Boston playing tonight? Because I know Boston lost their game, but okay, so Boston is fixing to have a reality check because they got Vegas tonight and they got the Avalanche on Saturday. So we'll know by the end of the weekend if Boston is actually for real or if they just had a somewhat decent start. They're fixing to find out. For instance, I should have gone to college to read those stats. The stats didn't even those graphs and all that stuff didn't even exist when I was that age. I'm kind of anti-analytical. I don't understand it, but I'll ask questions. I don't mind it. But a lot of the stuff I don't look at because it's all color coded. I'm like, what about the colorblind old people? Just tell me, is it good or not? You know what I mean? Just put yes, good, bad, no. That's all. Make it simple for old people. Maybe that's what I should do. Start a hockey website that's statistics for old people. You know what I mean? Can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody post these glorious, beautiful, colorful charts on Twitter. And I'll just ask, can somebody explain this in English to me? You know what I mean? And somebody will say, Kulikov is bad on the road. It's like, okay, thank you. Communist has just proved to us that you can score more than 2 goals in a game. I'm annoyed that we're losing games 2-1 and then get the 2 empty netters pisses me off. Yeah, Russian spreadsheet, Craig. Yeah. That's 2 mornings in a row because Donna goes to bed early. And then she gets the notification on her phone. So, like, that's two games in a row where she wakes up and sees the notification. She's like, oh, God, you guys got killed last night. And I have to go 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to go into the whole rant about how Maurice pulled the goalie with 3 minutes left. And it was a 1-goal game. And it's not a good way to wake up. It's pissing me off. David says 3 big days of sports for me. Cats tonight, Hurricanes tomorrow, and Cats again Saturday. Cats are 1 o'clock, too. Vincent says it's a typical conspiracy. Can you not read colors? You're unworthy. You're out. Yeah, I'm used to it. That's okay. It's all good. We'll be okay, right? We'll be fine. Beat the Devils. Beat the Sabres. Looking at where we're gonna need to have our ish together. We've got a little bit of a run here at the end of October. Knights, Ducks, Stars, Ducks, Kings. And we're going on the road too. That's weird. We're playing the Western teams 3 in a row at home. And then we go on the road for 1, 2, 3, 4 late games at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, come on. Why they got to do that to me? They better get good. They better start playing better. God dang, you think I complain now? Wait till I got to stay up till 2 in the morning to do the recap, and Maurice has pulled the goalie with 3 minutes left. You want to see somebody absolutely lose their Cocoa Puffs. Colin says, Tarasov versus Jake Allen tonight. The only thing I can really, truly confirm. And I don't think anybody got hurt, long-term injured yesterday, too. You know, so, and yeah, we did add that defenseman from Ottawa yesterday. We watched a little bit of his play. I believe we watched it on the member stream last night. And he looks like he could fight. He looks like he has a little bit of potential there. But I don't think anybody's getting any real. I wonder who would get the first shot. If Maurice wanted to play Bournefoot, I wonder if he would take Belinskas off the ice or Petrie off the ice. Petrie hasn't been spectacular, Vincent says, I like how you can tell Maurice is out of sorts when he gives short answers after a loss. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm with like 5 minutes left. I'm sitting there and we're streaming the game. And I'm like, just don't pull the goalie again with 3 minutes left. Please, just don't do that. And sure enough, there's 3:07 left. We got a draw in the O zone. And there's Bobrovsky heading off. And I'm like, son of a bitch, he did it again. We barely have the energy to skate around out there. You can tell. There's no way we're not going to give up an empty netter. I would hope that would be the way it would go, Craig, with Petrie off. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it wouldn't kill us to give Gregor a game out there. Hell, put Schwint in a game out there. Right? I don't know what else we can do. What, you think Kyle is burning his food again? Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on a second. Oh, for freaking hell. Hold on a second. Oh, my God. No, he's just looking his pizza. Well, I'm turning it off. I don't know where he is. Where is he? Hi, you out here? Yeah, I just turned your pizza off. Yeah, but it's I'm on the stream and God said it smells like how it's burning the food again. So I think you want to get it out of the oven. I don't think you want to let that go any further. Yeah, definitely not. All right, just make sure you close that door. Thanks. You're welcome. Okay, Kyle trying to burn down the house again. Okay, Kyle made himself a pizza last night, and it turned into a complete black frisbee. Like it was so hard that I couldn't even like break it up and like feed it to the animals outside. Like it was just like a saw blade. I could have put it in my freaking in my saw and used it. Is burned food a good sign for the game? No, not no. And Kyle wanted the house to stand in solidarity with the Dolphins front office. Oh boy. You heard Gregor was sent down? Ay. Well, not that Yeah, exactly, Prowag. And again, the second goalie pull, we didn't have full possession. I don't know what he's doing. Hey, Bill, how you doing, bud? Yeah, the defense, remember, two of them were empty nets. And the one goal was on a 5-on-3. So we're just not doing the work we need to do to put the puck in the back of the net. David says, my dad came home drunk once and decided to boil hot dogs. You'd be amazed how much smoke 4 hot dogs can produce after the water boils away. Hey, Zach, he says, is it just me or does Sam look better at 11 than Huberdeau did? Samoskevich looks good. It's a shame he's kind of getting thrown into, the constant mixing of the line blenders and whatnot. It's not, hopefully when Tkachuk comes back, at least we can have Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, and those 2 lines we know works. But then what's that leave us with? That leaves us with Rodriguez, with Verhaeghe, and Reinhart, which is what he did last night. Man, I don't know. On one hand, I know that, we've got all these injuries and he's only got so many limited options of what he can do. but he's been putting the line blender into like quick. Our go-to pizza chain. There's a place called Milano's down the road. What was Bennett's ice time last night? That's what I want to know. That was the other thing I was wanting to look at to try to figure out who Maurice is actually trusting. Because he was quick to move Bennett. So Bennett's time on ice last night was 18:06, which is pretty much his normal. Yeah, pretty much. He's actually playing like a minute more than his normal. So then what about Rodriguez? Rodriguez was at 16 minutes. And so I bet you the fourth line is like barely got any minutes, right? Cunnan. No, Cunnan actually played. Oh, no, wait. Looking at the game logs. Cunnan played 8 minutes last night. Was it? No, 10:40. All right, so he did play the fourth line a little bit more last night, which is good, but less than we had played earlier. That's weird. Huh. What happened versus Ottawa? So Cunnan's time on ice was 8:09 and then 8:07 in the first two games. Then 15 minutes versus Ottawa because we had the big lead. 14 minutes against Philadelphia. Maybe we were killing penalties. And then 10:40 last night. Interesting. Leia's beside you snuggling under the... Yeah, Leia's got a tough life. Leia has a tough life for sure. Big C's in downtown pizza is really good. Real says, turns out having your top line center out is a problem. Yeah, no doubt. Well, we're so used to just taking advantage of all these other teams with Lundell at 3C. Yeah, the Blackhawks last night for sure, man. Finally. Good to see them get off the schneid like that. So Vincent says, can we do a math session? What does our playoff roster looks like with Barkov back and under the cap? Rodriguez won't play. That's correct, but let's look at that. All right, let's see here. So now for sure, if Barkov is back, so let's work backwards. We knew before Barkov got hurt, we knew that we were 4.5 over when Tkachuk came back. So now Tkachuk will come back and we'll still have this space because Barkov is out. So if he comes back, I don't think anything different has happened. We would, at the very least, we would have to ice the team that is under the cap. And what's the number? Where's the number? 95.5, right? That's the number. So let me see if I can get this. See if I can get my calculator out. No, not that. Not that. This computer. This. All right. So I'm going to come over here and do some math. So let's move this over here. No. All right, so Barkov is 10. Oh, yeah. I have to read it. So, yeah. So, Rodriguez won't be able to play. And you may end up in a situation where you'd also have to sit Boquist and have somebody making half that amount of money also. So, unless you move guy, you can keep him on the roster, but you're going to have to basically go with Barkov. With Barkov, you're going to have to go Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand, and then Cunnin with Greer and Gadjevich. And I'm pretty sure we'd be under the cap at that point. But that's your roster. So you can't have Rodriguez and you can't have Boquist playing unless somebody's hurt. But we need both of those guys to get through what we're trying to. I mean, it is the absolute worst possible combination of circumstances for this team with the injuries plus them changing the LTIR for this season. Like, it's just the absolute. It's like the hockey gods are throwing everything that went well the last 3 years. They're just giving it all to us now. And we got 2 cups. We got 2 cups, right? Miserable Sabres fan. Yeah, I say when Buffalo Sabres win against the Senators, that's the first time you had something to cheer about. Not bad, eh? There was actually some pretty good games last night in terms of teams having better nights, right? Blackhawks 8-3, Senators 8-4, Hurricanes. Oh, damn. Sorry, Nick. Hurricanes 5, Sharks 1. Ducks beat the Penguins. Mammoths beat the Flames. What happened? Is that Wolf again for Calgary? No, but they put in Cooley. Jeez, he did well and he still lost. Cooley allowed 2 goals on 31 shots for a .935, and then the Flames can't score. I thought Huberdeau was coming back. I guess he didn't. He didn't play last night. The only one that scored was Rasmus Anderson. Dang. David says, it's so weird in my mind. I still think I'm 17-20, but physically it feels like I was born in 17-20. Did the Rangers score yet? When did they play? Do they play today? I would assume that the Rangers are going to play today. But they don't play at home for a while. I don't see the Rangers playing today. Tomorrow, where in the hell are the Rangers playing? Wait a minute. Am I blind? No, there they go. Yeah, they're playing the Leafs today, but in Toronto. So that's not a home game. And then Saturday, they're on the road against Montreal. Sunday, they don't play. Monday, they don't play. Tuesday, they are still not at home. They've got days off. Jeez, let me just go to the Rangers schedule. They got a weird schedule, but they've already played 5 games. So they don't play at home again until Monday the 20th. Yeah. So they've got today and they've got Saturday against the Leafs and Canadiens, and then they play the Wild on the 20th. So, and then they play the Sharks at home. So even if they get shut out by the Wild on the 20th to make it 4 games, you got to figure they're going to score some against the Sharks on the 23rd, right? Russell Bleeding Lose says, I want to forget everything from last night. I know, man. That was rough. That was rough. What the hell? What was that? I mean, everybody has bad days, right? How did that go? What was the I mean, it's 2-2 after one, but then Chicago just absolutely. Bedard, no goals. How would you like that to place some money on Bedard to get like a goal and Chicago gets 8 goals and Bedard doesn't get any? Good Lord. Reichel had 2 and then a bunch of other guys had 1. Who was in net for St. Louis? How bad was it? Hofer, good Lord. So Hofer had a 682, 7 goals on 22 shots. Oh my God. And then Bennington came in and allowed 1 goal and 7 shots to just stop the bleeding. Good Lord. 682 is pretty bad. Yeah, the Sharks team would be good in about 2 or 3 years, for sure. Deep dish pizza is not pizza. Huh. I like thin crust. I like the thin crust. So the weather's good here today. High, it's 58. It's breezy. It's not, yesterday was too warm. I like this better. Great White says, where do you start in lineup for each game? Or is it Zito just call? No, what's happening, Great White, is during the game, the room is bugged. And so whatever I bitch and complain about, Maurice doubles down and does it more. That's why he keeps pulling the goalie. They're trying to get me to quit. It's a conspiracy, Great White. They know I'm teetering on the edge. Like my sanity is just barely hanging on. And so I think that's why Maurice has been doing what he's been doing. They're just yanking my chain. So they heard me get pissed off about the goalie pull with 3 minutes. So he did it again, just sacrificing points just to try to get me to go away, I think. Yeah, the Oilers and Knights are undefeated. So, well, the Avalanche lost in overtime, right? Well, they got overtime losses, though. There's nobody, I don't think, that's undefeated yet, right? Knights are 2-0-2. Oilers are 2-0-1. So it's they haven't lost in regulation. What a difference, though, between the Knights and the Oilers. The freaking Knights have allowed 13 goals in 4 games. The Oilers have only allowed 5 goals in 3 games. And they somehow lost the game. I don't think there's anybody that's left that doesn't. No, that's not true. The Stars are still undefeated. They got 3 wins, and that's it. No losses, no overtime losses. I believe they're the only ones. No, the Hurricanes as well. So the Stars and Hurricanes are the ones that are left. And then there's the poor Islanders. Jeez, 7 goals in 3 games. It's not pleasant. Am I in shorts again? No, I got my. Here, you want to see my legs, Vincent? This is just for Vincent because I know Vincent. Vincent needs to see. Vincent needs to see. I still got my black sweatpants on. Great White, that's what you were thinking too? Yeah, they trying to finish me off. They're getting there. Diehard Red Wings fan. Hey, bud. Yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, do me a favor and take the Lightning out. Just do us the favor. Take the Lightning down a notch, right? And then just don't be who. Wait, I just look at the standings now, and I know they don't matter. But it's just hysterical to see Wings, Bruins, Canadians, Panthers, Leafs, Lightning. Like I know it's early, it doesn't matter. It's just it makes for because I'm not interested in some of these teams. Panthers are going to have their work cut out for them. But I will say, if the Panthers are going to make the playoffs and get eliminated, losing to Detroit, okay. You know what I mean? All right, if that happens, got no beef with Detroit. They're not a Canadian team. Now the Bruins is another thing. Can you imagine if the Bruins eliminated us with Marchand? Then it says, how many more years will the Metro suck before they move some of these teams out of the Atlantic? No, real, no. It cannot happen. Real says, don't worry, Jaws. We'll be trading Mackey and Crosby soon for the center depth. No. It'll be I don't want to say it. We're not going to trade for Crosby anyway. If Crosby didn't have a year on his contract left, I might think it's some miraculously possible, but I don't think so, because he's still got that year on next year's contract, and there's no way we can make that work. You know what I mean? We're full up. I can't imagine that they would trade Sam Miskevich. It's too rare that the Panthers draft a guy. I'm not talking Barkov, Huberdeau, Ekblad, because those were like top tier picks, right? The Panthers very, very rarely have taken a guy in that middle of the first round and developed them and kept them on the roster. So it's like Lundell. That's it. I can't think of the last guy that we drafted mid to the bottom of the third round that we developed and kept. So I don't think Sam Miskevich is going anywhere. Now, if they wanted to go after Malkin because he doesn't have a contract, I don't think those guys are going to want to go anywhere. I really don't. But you could see a situation. The only way we're trading for anybody is if they know Barkov's not coming back, because that's the only way the money's going to work. So if you were going to go get a Crosby, Dennis says if we get Crosby, could Zito win GM of the year? If we win another cup, I think all of the teams would riot. If we managed to win another cup with all these injuries, Zito would have to make a law that he would get GM of the year. Like, how could he not at that point, right? So it's a tough call, because we all love Rodriguez, and you need players like that. But if Barkov comes back, he won't be able to be on the playoff roster. So, unless there's somebody else that we're going to sit, you know what I mean? I suppose, not that I think that this would happen, but I suppose you could see a chance of maybe Luosterainen sitting out a game. For those who don't understand what I'm talking about, during the playoffs, if Barkov comes back, the roster that we ice for any individual playoff game has to be under the cap. So Barkov comes back, we cannot ice a team that's under the cap with Rodriguez on the ice, or with Luosterainen, one of those two guys, somebody making $3 million. And then I think also Boquist would have to be off the ice. So could it be a situation where we trade Rodriguez to upgrade? Because I don't know. But that would mean Barkov wasn't coming back anyway. So be happy we got our 2 cups, because it is. There's a lot of times I look at the team and I'm like, I'd love Zito's job, but this ain't one of them. Just the math alone is enough to drive somebody freaking crazy trying to keep up with it. Am I going to do a talk outside? Yeah, if the weather's nice, Simon, but it's too windy. I got to wait for the wind to calm down. I'm hoping. We're trying, right? I'm wondering if, I just thought of this. Maybe if there's some nice times, I wonder if we could stream a game, one of the night games, one of the late games, like 10 o'clock outside or something. I don't know. Anthony says, I want 3 more cups so we can break the Islanders record of the late 70s, early 80s for 4 in a row. I mean, this is going to be a challenge. This year is definitely going to be a massive challenge. So we'll have to see how it works out. All right, everybody, I got to roll. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Now, there were a lot of new members. Thank you, Patel, yesterday. Patel Ron gifted 50 memberships during the stream. So if you happen to have been gifted one of those memberships, I do a 30-minute live stream from here before each Panther game. That's for the members only. And then Kyle picks things up downstairs. I forget where I am. At 7 o'clock for the game. So we'll be doing our normal live thing tonight. And that's it. Appreciate all of the support. We'll be okay. We get 2 points tonight. All right. Let me see. Oh, you know what we'll do? I know what we'll do. We haven't brought Francisco out for an intro in a long time. Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Great White. Says, let's try to get a win tonight. We haven't brought Francisco. Only usually comes out when we're losing and we're pissed. I think it's time for Francisco tonight. That'd do us well. All right. Appreciate all support. I shall see you a little bit later.